SW, but it's all right. I've just noticed mine's gone on, bud, so I've just literally clicked on. There's only a few people on there. I'm assuming people will get a message or an email saying I'm back up and running. But what I did is I double clicked on Rhythmic and just left it, and eventually it worked its way up. And when it did, I just opened NinjaTrader and everything worked. So so far so good. So I just literally I don't know how to connect to the previous stream, so I thought, well, we'll give it a go. So far so good. So not exactly sure what's going on here. One leg, two leg. We had this push down. Yeah, I can see where there was a second entry short there. I can see where some traders went short there. Let me see if where was the open? 2:30 open was around about there somewhere. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go. Just wanted to put the open, that's all. Plot the open. Okay, so let's try and figure out what's going on here. Not even sure if this is right, actually. I just literally threw it together. No, it's more like that, I think. Break. Maybe it is. It's not like yesterday. How did we get on yesterday? It was a choppy day. The last couple of, well, the 1, 2, that was a little bit more of a mover, but the last few days have just been just weird, haven't they? I'm not quite sure why this news has come back on my chart. This was yesterday's news. Not quite sure what's going on there. Does seem to be bearish, a little bit of sideways. Be interested if we can get a lower high or something. No, I think most people, by the looks of things, we've got about 12 in here. By the looks of things, I mean, there's still a lot of people are experiencing problems. What I did was just double clicked on Rhythmic, and it took a while, but eventually it worked its way across, and then I just opened Ninja Trader, and that was it. So, fingers crossed. Okay, we've had a bit of a short-term trend line with a break and a new high. Whether we're at the breaking out of this channel or this range, either way, if we can get a lower high below this EMA, I may be interested in that. I was just seeing if we'd had a midday chart yet from Mac. Nothing as yet. So I don't know whether this is a breakout from this range, which sort of looks like it, or a breakout from this channel. Either way, you would probably expect it to go down, but after this, we've had a bunch of new lows, so I don't know whether we're going up. So to keep an eye on this. JGA, man, Rhythmic now, easy failure, 8:30. Second entry open. At least people are getting back on now. Okay, there is a lower high there, but there's also a failure. So if it pushes above there, it'll take out that. So, which it looks like it's going to do. So it may push up a bit. I did look at thinking about a second entry, because whether we've either broke out the top of that that range or the channel, I don't know. I thought that was going to push up there. Perhaps it's not.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Let's jump in. Everything's working like it should. It did push up there and came to the right tick, but then pushed back down. So it's going to take us out again.
Order filled.
Ah, that's frustrating. Oh well. It actually went up, came back down, so I thought it was, oh well, okay. So there may be a double trap here. You're in. So whatever we're breaking out of there, you'd expect it to come in. We had a break. I didn't automatically take that. It triggered, pushed up, only came to here, and then came back down. So I took it on the way back down. Oh, look at that. That's frustrating. Okay, first entry. That's frustrating. It takes you out for a tick and then comes right back down. God, that's so annoying. God, that's so frustrating. It does make you wonder whether it's worth giving it an extra tick sometimes, doesn't it? God, that's so annoying. At least it was a small risk anyway. It's only a point and a half. Tick above, tick below, 2 points. Not too bad, that. It was less than that, actually. Second entry long, which is triggered there. See, I'm not sure whether we're in this range or this channel. There is a possible failure there. But I don't like these three big bars. I'm going to get rid of that at the moment. That's frustrating. It does make you wonder. That often happens, that it takes you out for one tick. I do wonder sometimes whether it's worth giving trades 2 ticks. There is a failure there. Kind of like that.
Order submitted.
Just give it a chance to tick.
Order filled.
Okay, there's a failure there. See if we can get down to these bottoms. Issues resolved. Good. Oh, I hate it when it does this. Once we get below here, I think we'll be okay. Just slowly grinding down. Okay, once we get below there, I think we'll hit that 3 points then, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Okay, we're below there, so... Oh, that's frustrating. Hopefully there may be some longs trapped there. If we can get below there, I think we'll get at the target. Just got to go with it. That's all I can do, really. If we break below here, then I'm pretty confident we're going to hit the target there. I'm going to drop my order there anyway, just so I can at least guaranteed I'm not going to get... come on, push down.
Order filled.
That's frustrating. I expected it to get down these lows. That's really slow, that is. Frustratingly slow. Don't even know what I got there. Half a point. Oh, crikey. You just don't know it. I hate it when it goes slow. Okay, so what did I lose there? 29 and a half. 1.75 points there and half a point there. Probably going to get down there now. And that's plus half a point. Oh, that's frustrating. Plus 0 point. I just hate it when it goes sideways. I mean, it was a bit risky right in the middle anyway, but I don't know, after we'd had this push down, I at least expected to get to the bottom. So, oh well. I should know not to trade in this, really. I thought that was okay. I actually let it trigger. It went up to here and came back down. And I took it on the way back down, and then it went up again. And that's frustrating. At least I did the right thing to come out there. There is a lot of support, yeah. I should know better. I've got to keep my patience in whack here. I shouldn't be trading there. I should know better. Think. Patience, patience. You're that eager to want to trade, see? In fact, I'm just wondering whether that is more like the bottom. I think it probably is. In which case, it's actually touched it. I shouldn't have took that, really. At least I came out for half a point better than losing. What was it? 2.5 points. Tick above, tick below. That would have been a 3-point loss there. At least I've got half a point back. So, right decision to come out. I shouldn't have took that anyway. It's 2/3 of the way down, really. I should know better than that. Hey Speedy, how you doing, buddy? We did stream earlier for about 15 minutes, but obviously no one can get into Ninja Trader. But it's all working now. I don't know why I've got this yesterday's news still on my stream. I don't know why. Some issues with Rhythmic, yeah, seems that way. Hey to you, how you doing? I lost on that lower high too, that one there. Trouble is, I didn't just jump straight in it. I let it trigger below, and then it pushed up to here. Came back down, and I took it on the way down, and then it pushed up again. I thought I'd give it a chance to get higher. Now, what I'm doing is making a note of every time I get taken out of a trade for one tick. Trouble is, if I'd have put that an extra tick, I wouldn't have got stopped out there, and it came down pretty quick. It seems to know exactly when to take you out. Yeah, that was the trouble with that. It was just too low, really. I was just trading a bit too quick after that, to be honest with you. Possible second entry long here. That frustrated me, and sometimes you jump in a bit quicker than you really want to. I got half a point out of it anyway, so at least I was sensible enough to get out before it came back and took me out. Okay, so we got this short-term trend, and we've got a break. Let's see if we bounce off here. Second entry short.
Order submitted.
Not the one below the way, just after the higher low. Oh, I got you.
Order cancelled.
There is a second entry long there. It's not the worst bar in the world.
Order
Let's take it
filled.
on a limit order. To the highs. It's not too bad. I like the way it's come down and bounced off, and that came down again. It's a 2-point risk. And a push up. That's a good question, actually. I should have waited. I was more focusing on the getting in on the limit order. I'm rushing a bit today. I can feel it that the market not starting earlier unsettled me a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna. As soon as this gets back here, I'm gonna get out of it. It just unsettled me. I usually sit down and do a little bit of meditating or something. Oh, and do a little bit of meditating. And I didn't. I'm going to come out of this. I just don't like what
Order
it's doing.
filled.
Okay, I got out of it for a tick. It's better than a kick in the teeth. Has it triggered? Let's wait for it to trigger.
Order submitted. Order filled. Order submitted.
Okay. It's all right. I got back in on it. Yeah, I am. It's unsettled me then as this morning. I think we'll be okay though. One leg. Get above here. I think we'll be okay. I'm going to come out of this, I think. I think once we get above there, we'll be okay. It does look like it's grinding. So it pushes above there, I think we'll be okay. Push. Go on, push. One more tick.
Order filled.
Oh, okay, got me. Yeah, sorry. It is a second entry long and it is working. To be honest with you, that unsettled me. I usually do a little bit of meditating, but I'm just jumping in. It was a second. It's obviously working. It's pushed out and it's bounced off. It was a second entry long. It wasn't a brilliant signal bar, but on a lot of bars, on a lot of yes, I am Daniel. On a lot of charts, that might be slightly more bullish. It pushed out and it bounced off the top and touched the EMA, and it's worked by in all intents and purposes. But what I did is I wanted to get in on a limit order because it wasn't a brilliant bar, but it didn't dawn on me that it hadn't triggered. And then I got out of it, and when it broke above it, I'm thinking it is a second entry long, and I think it's going to work. So I got back in it, and in the end, it ended up working. I'm a little bit up, so I need to just focus on what I'm doing now. I usually sit down. I usually get all my system up running and sit down for about 15 minutes and do a little bit of meditating, a little bit of relaxing, and focus on what I'm going to do in the day, i.e. sit patiently and wait for good setups. And I haven't done that. The good thing is at least I'm up a little bit anyway, and I need to just... so what I'm going to do... what did I get in here? I got a tick there. And a 1.5 there, so 1.75 basically. Why isn't that working? 0.75 plus 1.75. I'm not a slow typer. I've just got a bloody great mic in front of me. Apply. Okay. We've had this big push down, and it does look like it's priming for a big push up. And we've had a push up there. We broke out the bottom a bit. We've had a push up there, and we've come down and bounced on in. We've pushed up strongly. That's telling me, I'd say we're likely to have a good push up. And we have had a second entry long now. And one of your guys' charts, that could be a tick or two higher, which in that case isn't a bad trade. Now, for some odd reason, I saw it here and thought I'll get in on a limit order, and it just didn't dawn on me for a second that it hadn't triggered. So I realised my mistake and got out of it for a tick profit. But when I saw it break that, I'm thinking the EMA is starting to point up. We clearly bounced off the top. It is a second entry. It's clearly two legs down there, so I think it's okay. So I got in anyway, and it worked. So it did work. But I just went the long way around it. So there you go. So let's get back to focus. And so what I'm going to do, I usually sit down for about 10, 15, 20 minutes, do a little bit of meditation and a few breathing exercises, and then calm myself down a bit. And I haven't done that today. Yeah, how you doing, bud? Yeah, I came on earlier and did a stream for about 15 minutes, and I was just trying to get everything fixed, and it just wouldn't work. But there we go. Things are working now. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make myself a cup of tea, because I am rushing a little bit. Fortunately, it did work, that one. I mean, you would have thought it would have worked. We've had a break out the top. We've had two legs down. It's bounced off the EMA, and it's bounced off the top of that trend channel. Sorry, that range channel. And and it's gone a bit sideways, but then it's pushed up. So I realised what was happening, and I got back in. So I ended up getting anyway, it got me out of the doo-doo, so to speak. So I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, and I'm going to make a cup of tea and then see if I can't relax a little bit. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Drink some whiskey. There you go. I've got a cup of tea. Yeah, I find, because I'm quite a wired person, I find I need a few breathing exercises to chill me out a bit. Now, this looks like it may be a spiking channel. Let's have a look. Possible. Probable? Possible, yeah. It's a bit early, really. Shame about that one. What I do now, every time a trade stops me out for one tick, I make a note of it. That way, at some point, I may go back to, because quite often, there is a second entry long there.
Order submitted.
Fares. No, something I don't
Order
like
cancelled.
I'm not sure what's going on here at the moment. Whether we're ranging or what. So it is possible we could be doing something, something like that. This is possible. I don't know whether it is or not, but I'm not sure. Which is why I'm not getting involved in a trade at the moment. We probably shouldn't place the order where our stop is. I'm not sure whether we're in sort of a sideways or whether this is a little bit here or not. I don't know. Best option, let's remove it for now. There is a second entry long again. But I'm not sure whether we're ranging and this is going to trigger me and then end up doing a failed second entry long and coming down. It's finished naff anyway, so I'm not sure I know what's going on at the moment. Clearly going sideways, but I'm not exactly sure in which sort of picture are we going sideways. I should have left that alone. That, I think, was just maybe a bit of bad luck. I don't know. We're going to push up, get a break. We didn't hit a new high, but we did push down. I looked at that one and I let it trigger, and then it went back up to equal height as that, and then it came back down. Then I got it on the way back down, came down to here, and then went back up and stopped me out. So I gave it chance to stop me out. So let's work out what's going on here. It is possible we got a bit of a spike and channel going up, but it's a bit early, really. Let's try it from the tops. There is a second entry long, but it's quite congested there. And I think the sensible thing is to leave that alone. I mean, we may be in a spiking channel. We've obviously had this push down. We've had a leg down, a bit of a pullback, and another leg down. We've had a break, and down to this sideways, and we do seem to be working up. So whether we'll continue up or not, I don't know. I'm not fully convinced exactly where this top of this range is. It's only touching it once if it is there. Okay, that second entry looked like it's going to work, but trouble is they always look good when you don't take them. I don't know. Maybe something like that. So what? Let's remove that for now. Let's go from here. It's touching once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It's somewhere around about there, but I'm not convinced that this low isn't here. I don't know. Is this going to push up? I'd say so, but I don't know. Resistance from overnight lows. Yeah, well, we're up here, the overnight lows, aren't we? Right at that midline. Well, see, overnight lows is different to you. It's just the middle of the day lows for us in the UK. But, so that's possible, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not sure at the moment. There was a second entry long there, which was off the key entry point, but I'm not exactly sure where this is. I don't know whether we're breaking out of this range, because it's clearly been ranging. I'm just not convinced I know where the tops are. I'd say possibly touch is there, touch, touch, touch. So that might be it. In which case, if it is it, then we could be coming down. This might just be one attempt to go higher and an attempt to go higher, and it may come down. I don't know. I do get the feeling we've made a bit of a spike in the channel, but I'm not convinced until we push up and bounce here and then come down again. But so we'll just keep an eye on it. See, there is a possible higher low there. See how that finishes, but gotta be careful here. See, we've got a new high there, trying to go once or twice, failure. So that's triggered. So if this pushes up bullish, I'd say that's likely to push up. See how that finishes, because there may be some shorts there. I mean, it's not. We'll see. Let's get an order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
So we've had 2 legs back. The second entry long. If this pushes up, it's confirmed that this does look like a spike in the channel once, 2, 3 times. Excuse me. Obviously depends how it. But there may be some longs in there, so if it pushes and drops below here, then I'm not interested. I think if it looks like it's going to. Does seem wherever there's a setup, there's something to stop it out.
Order cancelled.
Take a long year. Someone will stop you out. Does make you wonder whether the market's against you sometimes, doesn't it? That's what I mean. So it could be just something like this. I often wonder whether if you just wait for a good few bars in a row, you just jump on here. No one's trying to stop you out here. Probably not the best strategy, but you probably have half as much chance of it working sometimes. Triangle 1, triangle 2 is fairly triggered. Doesn't look like it's in a hurry to come down at the moment. This looks like 2 legs, so let's see if we push up and maybe get us a higher low on the way up. It's hard to say at the moment. I don't know whether it's just coming back in. It's going to come back to this, the lower part of the lower part of this range, or it may end up doing something like that. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I'm convinced about that. Trouble is, I'm guilty of drawing these too quick and they make a decision, but I'm not so sure. I prefer it fit a little better, but 3 different areas there. I don't know at the moment. It's a bit early, but yeah, it's just too early. What if we start pushing and come up here? Then I may start looking about, thinking that there may be a channel going up. But at the moment, okay. So the second entry along which the see if we can get a higher low off here. Trouble is, wherever you get possible setups, there seems to be traps. That's why I wonder sometimes, are you better off waiting for a few bars to push up, thinking if it's coming to here and just randomly jump in. You're certainly going to have no algorithms or whatever it is trying to stop you out. I don't know how that works. I don't know too much about the nuts and bolts, but I hear people say the algos are looking for your stops. I don't fully understand it all. I don't know. I'm assuming the algorithms are within. What do they do? Pay? I don't quite know. I don't know. So okay, so we've had a nice 2-leg back. So that's worked out quite nice. I could probably adjust that a little bit to make it fit quite nice. Let's have a look. 1 leg, 2 leg. Trouble is, it's just you can't take that really because it might trigger you and come back down to this side of it. It's still a bit unclear, really, isn't it? There may be a channel down there. I don't know. I got no idea. Could be a channel down there. I don't think so. I think it's likely it's going to push up, but I don't know. Had a hoo high. We've had a sort of 2 legs back. Okay, so okay, so we've got a new high here, and there's a lower high. Now, I'm not thinking about short at the moment. Excuse me, but some might. And if that finishes bearish, there might be some shorts trapped there. No, I understand what you mean, but the market is still working as it would, isn't it? As far as I'm aware. Okay, so we got a new high here. And there's a lower high, obviously depends on how it finishes. Just wondering what that may trap some shorts, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there may end up being some kind of a channel up there. I'm not. Excuse me a second. Sorry, dog's barking. Okay, so I'm not. I don't know whether anything. Not sure. It doesn't fit very well at the bottom, so whether it will turn into something like that, maybe. I don't know. Okay, there's a lower high there which is triggered. Now let's see if we've got two legs back and a push up. If that ends up bullish, I kind of like that one, but it is a little bit congested. But we've had one leg, we've had two legs back, and we've pushed that above the EMA. We've come down. Whether there's going to be some shorts in that, it's not the ideal bar to go short. It's above the EMA, and there's a bit of a stem on the bottom. But I'd say if it may likely push up, but as I mentioned, I don't know whether we're in a downtrend here or it's working out. I've got no idea at the moment. It could come rocketing down, or it might go up and take the stops out and push up. I've got no idea at the moment. It's just not really making much. It's not very clear, so really, if it's not clear, I shouldn't really get involved. But that has triggered, so I don't know, maybe people go, okay, so new high, lower high, let's take it, we're coming down because we're ranging. I don't know, we might be, we might not be. I've got no idea. I'm certainly not getting involved anyway. It's just too congested. It's a little bit, I'm uncertain as what's going on. It does look like it's working upwards, but it could just work upwards to these tops and then come down, so I don't know. What I will say is there's a failure there which is triggered. There's also a lower high which is triggered, so if it does push up, there could certainly be some stops up there to push through. If it does, we've had this short-term trend. We've had the short-term trend channel. We had a break, two, three pushes up to a new high. We've broken out the top of this range, and we've pushed in, trying to go one strike, twice failure, pushed down, and then we've come back up and made a lower high. Have you been trading this max system for long? 2 years. But it seems easy, and to all intents and purposes, it is to a degree. But when I say it is, understanding what a second entry is the easy bit. Adapting it to the context of the mark is far harder. Excuse me. And the most difficult part of all is the psychological side of it. See if we get a failure here. Is the psychological side of it. It's discipline, learning the system. It's a system. It's like anything. Learning any job, it's a system you learn. But it's because it has such an emotional factor to it. That's what makes it far more difficult. You know, most other people go to work and they know they get paid at the end of the day or the end of the month or week or whatever. We could spend 3 hours sat in the charts today and go home $300 in the red. So it does look like it's pushing up. If it gets above these, then I expect it to come up. And then maybe there is sort of a... I did look at that, but the trouble is because it's congested, it could trap me and come down. I've got no idea at the moment, but if we get above here, I'd say we could have a bit of a push. Or it could just be a couple of legs up and retesting these highs and come down again. It's just not clear at the moment. And unlike my earlier outburst, jumping in a bit too quick and keen, sometimes when I've been sat at the chart for 20 minutes, I mellow down a bit and get a little bit in tune with it. But it does help me talking out these processes aloud. It helps me hear a bit clearer. that to me now certainly looks like the top of this range. Touch there, touched on the doji there, close there, touch, 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 touch. So I'd say that's as good as any for a top small breakout here. So it could come down. That's why you got to be careful taking longs like that. It does look like it's trying to push out. We've had the short-term trend channel. We've had 2 legs down. Back to the EMA. We've pushed up. We've had a couple, 2 or 3 legs up. And we've pushed down a bit. And we haven't even come as low as the midline. So that tells me that it is losing its downward momentum. And it's more likely to push up. So new high there. You could say that was a second entry long. And there's also a lower high which has triggered a trap, but it is having that little push that I thought it might do when it gets above these highs. It's a doji there, but it's a very small bar, so maybe some people may short that. So if we can get above there, well, I expect them to push up a bit higher. There we go. Okay, so that would have worked, but the trouble is because it's congested and you've got these highs, you just don't know. You'll sit here and watch it do it half a dozen times in a row. As soon as you jump in, it just sacks you. Yeah, looks like a leg break. New high, 2 legs back, and another leg. So I expect to get up to here somewhere. There's a measured leg. I don't know. I don't know where people do the measured. You would think leg. So whether you do it from here or here, I don't know. I don't know. It's not the easiest one. Legs usually are pretty straightforward. You might say that's a leg and that's a leg. But here, where'd you go from? Here, here. Just have another look at that. Those tops. Sorry. Just want to see where this finishes. I'm not convinced it is, but maybe. Be interesting to see where that finishes. Actually, that's the open, official open. So whether it'll bounce off here because it's the open or because it's the top of this channel. Anything from Mac yet? Not yet. Strange. As soon as we've hit that high there, big drop. Okay. Yeah, that's where Max is from, I think, isn't it? Yeah, that's where Max got his highs and his lows are. Yeah, exactly the same. He's got that channel down there with that break. Yeah, everything's the same there. He hasn't got this yet, but he's still around about here. I don't know whether that'll work or not. It's a bit early, really. I mean, it's certainly working at the top. NQ breaking out. Maybe ES follows. I don't know. A lot of people say the ES follows the NQ, doesn't it? I mean, whether that is, we're certainly moving upwards, aren't we? And it's touch perfectly along there. So it's clearly moving along that line. We just had no start in place, really. We touched it here. It doesn't mean to say it's not. Just because that hasn't come down here. I mean, it might not. It might just be bullish enough to keep going sometimes. But this section here, with the exception of this, is working in this top tier. And we had a couple of pushes down and then we pushed back up and we bounced off the top. So maybe it is a channel, but it's just working in this top section of it. That's a bit clearer. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's how Max got his drawn, and exactly the same there. Touch, 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 touch. Yeah, it's as good as any. It's. I think it's irrelevant now anyway. So. Should have left that one, really. I mean, I got half a point out of it. That one, I thought might have been a bit unlucky, and maybe been a little bit better to wait for the failure there. But at the time, it seemed to be this. It was working in this sort of section, so I thought that might have been a break. I actually give it a chance to trigger as well, and it came back up to exactly the same level, and then came back down, and I took it on the way back down, and then it came up and stopped me out again, the bastard. Possible second entry long. I get a bit nervous about taking these off that centre line because it could come back. But what I do like is the fact that you got the EMA and the top of that channel at exactly the same place. So maybe it will bounce off that. I don't know. Second entry long. We'll see what happens. It's clearly working up, so I don't know whether it'll come down or not. I don't know. If I take a trade here, I would much prefer that bar to push through here and then push right up and sit right on the top of there, really, to interest me, because I don't know whether this may end up coming right back to the other side, if indeed it is a channel, which it could be. See, I can't really take anything long in there, which is why I prefer it to break and then maybe come down and sit on here. It's certainly working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's working perfectly along the top. Doesn't look any better than that. We haven't really got a starting point, which doesn't necessarily mean I mean, we've pushed. If we started with this range, we've pushed out. We've come back in. We haven't even come back to the midline. Then we've pushed a couple of pushes up. We've gone out strongly. So if we can come around and maybe break and bounce on here a couple of times, then I'll be okay about going along. But it could well come and retest this side if it is a channel, which it's starting to look more and more like. But I can't just jump in randomly here. And I know it sounds a bit strange listening to me talking with patience. See, it may come down to these sides. It may come back into the range. It's just not very clear. Has anybody else still got that on their chart from yesterday? I'm pretty sure that's yesterday's. Is there? I don't know. Or is it? Or is it? Or was it the CPI data? That's different, isn't it? That's different. What do we get around 1330? Maybe it's different. Strange, the hardest part of not trading unless you're certain where it's going. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think if you're not certain, then it's just there's so many different aspects to trading, isn't it? Some you might have strengths and some you may have weaknesses, but this is purely a numbers game. The more time you spend trading day in, day out, the better you'll get. It's inevitable. Yeah, it's all right. It looked like yesterday's. I just didn't read it properly. It's called PPI. It was a CPI data yesterday. It was just at the same time. It just looked pretty familiar. That's all, but I didn't read it. Okay, so we may get a bit of a break. See if we get a new low, and then maybe a push up, higher low, fairly something like that. It's just too risky taking something like that. It's a bit of a naff bar anyway, but it does look like it's working. We actually had a break out of here, and we had a couple of legs back, and then I know people who would have taken that trade. One leg, two leg, and a higher low even. Maybe the channel starts from 1543 on mine. Around about here, yeah, it's possible. And the reason I brought it down is because I like the way it's incorporating those, but could be something like that, couldn't it? I do like the fact. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I suppose, anyway, because it's that's where I've got it. But it might start there. And the reason I brought it a bit low is because I like the fact that it's touching those as well. So those two are obviously playing a part. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6. It's clearly bouncing off that line. No argument there, but it doesn't necessarily, because it's not getting back here, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not a channel. It just might be, it's bullish enough to keep pushing up. But look, even if you'd have taken that, there is it's a second entry long there, but we're in that channel, see, so it's not really safe to do that. But look what's happened. Yeah, the thing is, sometimes it doesn't come down to the bottoms. How many times do we have a break of a channel and we wait for it to come to the EMA and it only comes off here and takes off? So many times when we have a break, we're looking for it to get back to the EMA with a decent setup to go long, and so many times it doesn't even get back. Obviously, we started here. It didn't get back here before it pushed up strongly, so obviously it's quite bullish there. And same there, we came down. Once we broke that midline, straight up again. But you can't really take that. It's right in that channel. I mean, it could tick up and come back, or break and bounce off here, but the fact that it's clearly hitting those sides, clearly working up. We're clearly making sort of higher highs and higher lows. There is some previous support there. Funnily enough, it's just bounced off there a little bit. Yeah, I'm not even sure where I've got the measured move from. It's a bit If you take it from down here to maybe, trouble is there's probably one there and then up there, but maybe possibly there. I mean, you've got one here, haven't you? It's usually when you get the push up and then you get a sort of a it retraces, doesn't it? Well, it has there from top to bottom, so whether it's there or not, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, it's not the clearest. Usually measured mover are a lot easier to, a lot clearer to see, but it's a bit tricky there, isn't it? Because it's the bottoms fitting opposite the tops. Yeah. It's clearly working up, isn't it? It's clearly starting to trend now. So if we can get above here, then you've got this area then where it may struggle a little bit. Four, 1, 3, 4. Took 6 points there, ended up when it touched the trend line. You went here. Yeah. The trouble is, you sit and watch them and they'll push up. As soon as you get in there, they don't break, stop you out, have a whacking great big bullish bar and rock it up. I mean, it's not coming back to this side of the channel, so it's pretty bullish. So when that forms, I don't know, maybe it's bullish enough, but obviously the percentage of winning trades like that is obviously it's probably, you know, it's in a strong trend, it would maybe 60-70%, I don't know, but if you plan on taking it up to the highs and you know you plan on going for extra points, then maybe worth the risk. 4, 5, 6, 7, so it's 2.5 point tick above, tick below is 3 points total. Looks like there are 2 channels in play. Make it a wedge. See, Mac doesn't use wedges and that sort of stuff. So sometimes if you close it up like that, it becomes a bit clearer, but I know it doesn't. The trouble is, if it's working up in this top tier of the channel, it's not going to get back to this side. You see what I mean? So we had a push up and we seem to be working in this top tier. Then we had 2 legs back, a pullback, another retest, and pushed up strongly. And now we've just broke below that middle and we've pushed up again. So it might be the case that we're just working on this 2-tier channel. But it doesn't necessarily always come back to this. It may do at some point, and I know because I've taken a trade here and waited and held, and it's come back and bounced off here and stopped me out. It was a clear breakout above. Yeah, see, you took it up here somewhere. See, at the moment, there's a short-term trend channel, and that bar is in there. So, you know, majority of the time it'll break, and you'll have a new low. Now, obviously, it depends on how bullish the market is, but that's just something we can't really take. It's a tick off a doji, so, you know, but maybe if you let it push further up and you jump in here, I don't know. Depends. If you're going for lots of points all the time, then, you know, maybe it'll work. See what happens here. See, a lot of times when you get these channels, they keep coming back, don't they? Let's see if this one does. See what happens here. Oh. There was a trade like this. Do you remember the one yesterday that a lot of people got stopped back at? Got stopped out. That was weird. Something about that I didn't like. I mentioned it on the stream. The fact that we had this big pullback and then it went up again. But me being me, I just jumped in anyway. But I think many got stopped out with that one. Certainly, there was quite a few who posted that one, and Mac did mention it. Okay, so we've had this channel come down there, and that's pushed up strongly. So let's see what happens here. But you still can't really just take that because we're in the middle of a channel. And you guys know me, I always follow the rules. So the trouble is, if you take it here, it could come back to this side, and I've done it so many times, got in there, and I didn't realise it was a two-tier channel until it came back, bounced off here. I zoomed out, realised we're in a bigger channel, a bigger trend channel. So it might continue higher. It may come to this side. But what I will say, twice it's bounced off the open, so it may come back to this side, or it could break out. Once, twice, three times, it's struggled to get above there a little bit, so yeah. See, that's a tempting bar to take, but trouble is, it may trigger and come down. I like it because it's sat on top of there, but it's just something about this I don't like. It almost looks fake, if that makes any sense. I have my trend support higher touching trend support. Oh, so you're up here, are you? Trouble is, it's only really touching there. It's right through the middle, isn't it? Let's see what happens here. I don't like this. Draw another channel from 1543 from here. About here, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Trouble is, if I bring it up there like that, oh, that looks even worse. See what's happened. That's triggered. It's starting to come down. I don't know. I just think it's the fact that it's more of a two-tiered channel. Let's put that back. It's clearly bouncing off the tops. Clearly. No argument there. So that has to be worth something, doesn't it? Touching perfectly. And the fact that it's not coming down just might mean that it's working in this top tier. If it's bullish enough, I understand that, but if we're in a two-tiered channel, it can look like this. We pushed up strongly there, and we've worked in this top section. Then we've had two legs back. We've pushed up strongly, and now we're working in this top section. So I don't know. Yes, if I draw that like that, that just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. That. Are you going from here? Are you? No, that doesn't look right to me. It's going more that way. I'd say, if anything, this is a spiking channel. Let me have a look. I hate it when it does that. Oh, excuse me. Let's try it like this. I don't know. See, what I will say is at the moment, we look like we're doing some of this. I don't like how that's sort of working out anyway. But the fact that it's bouncing off and coming back down in exactly the same point, if it is a two-tiered channel, it could just be working in the top tier. I mean, it could be, but it's more going sideways there, really, isn't it? In fact, it doesn't necessarily need to bounce off the bottom of this trend channel. It could just bounce off the bottom of the midline. Let me just put those back at the tops a minute. That seems much better. The angle of that seems much better. I might be wrong, but you've got to do what you think's right, haven't you? See, at the moment, it is working around that midline. And it may come back to this side and work along here, in which case, then it would be right. Trouble is, I could be working off the midline, see. It's stopping right around that midline. There, 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 there. I don't know whether I can squeeze it to this. No, I don't know. Might just be a little bit of a pop out there. I don't know. Okay. Possible second entry long off the key entry point and off the midline. I'm not a fan of it. Just wondering, with these three sort of touches, maybe someone's short in that. Classing it as a triple test, who knows? We'll try to go up once, twice, three times. Triggered. Let's see if it shoots up once it gets above these highs. Yeah, I agree with you, B. Just a bit unclear at the moment. And it's okay. It's okay to be unclear. That's the trouble is, when it is quite choppy, sometimes it is a little harder to read it, and that's the trouble, because we're not all black and white. We can all sort of interpret it in a slightly different way. So that has triggered that second entry longs trigger, but I don't like the bar anyway. But if it has bounced right off that centre line, had a rough day yesterday, but had a green one today, one day at a time. Absolutely, Tyler. That's the best way to do it. Forget what's going on tomorrow, forget next week, forget what you're going to earn the week after. Just think about one day at a time. I need to do that. I've said that to myself so many times, and I need to probably pay attention. But yeah, set a plan for today. Now, even though we do the same thing every day, I still think it's good to set a plan in motion. What am I going to do today? Possibly maximum number of trades, X amount. If I get 2 losses, am I going to quit? Yeah. If I get 2 wins, am I going to quit? Yeah. Or go on to a demo. So I think it's good to have a plan, even if you have the same plan every day. And then just focus on one day at a time. Trouble is, we're all that eager to get winning trades and get some money on the board. So sometimes get a little bit too excited, You know, it's like having money laid around in front of you, isn't it? You get a little bit too keen and you can jump in a bit too keen and get stung. Okay, if we break above here, then I'd say this measured move. So you could say that's a triple test if it ends up bearish. I just don't like going short in an uptrend. It's not to say it's not going to... I watched the chart do this about a few weeks ago, and it went up 3 times, and there was a triple test short, and I didn't take it, and it dropped right the way down to this side of the channel, and then went up and burst through this. So I'm just not a fan of taking a short in an uptrend. Yeah, I noticed that, Osam. I think a lot of people did. There was a few people in the Facebook group took that. I don't know whether Daniel or Marco took it. They haven't said. would they admit it? You still there, are you, Daniel? Did you take that yesterday? That lower high that stumped a lot of people? It's heartbreaking, though, yeah. You know, I don't mind losing a trade as long as I took it in good faith. You know what I mean? As long as I think it's a good setup, then I don't mind, because I've lost it out of lack of experience, which is okay. We're all here to get better, and you do learn a lot from your losses. Okay, so you could say that's a triple test. Look, so try to go once, try to go twice, and it's relatively bearish. Remember I said we did this the other day. It had a triple test and it dropped right the way down, touched here, and then worked up, and boom, off it went, and then it carried on going. So it'd be interesting to see where that maybe confirms this channel, or whether it sort of just bounces here, because it does look like it's ranging a touch. So I don't know, maybe it's going to push up. You treat that as a range and go long. I don't know. Tempting, but I'm leaving it alone. It's going a bit sideways. See, it could be. I mean, if you think about it, touches there, touches there, touches there. It could just be that, and there's just a little popped out a little bit there. It doesn't actually work too bad with that, really. If you think about that, a little pop out there, but if he started there, touched there, so it's confirmed twice, touched a couple of times, well, a few times there before it dropped a little bit. Let's see if we get a higher low. Doesn't look too bad now, does it, when I put that little bit of a breakout? It's only a touch, doesn't necessarily a big issue, is it? At the moment, I just can't go short because it's clearly working up. I wish I'd have taken that one actually, but it was a bit early at the time, but it looked like 2 legs down and a higher low. I'll be surprised if someone doesn't mark that later. 1 leg, 2 leg, and a higher low. Okay, I'd like this to drop and confirm that channel for me. So, interesting drop for me. Yeah, I mean, it has broken out a touch, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's not it's not accurate. I mean, we started here, touched a couple of times here, didn't we? And we just had that little pop out. I'd prefer to drop down here and sit on here, and then. But I know what people say. It's important where you take it, but if it's coming to the tops, that's fine. But it just might be working. And if it's a 2-tiered channel, it could be working up here. It's not going to get down here. You know what I mean? So, see what happens here. Yeah, he does cut candles a lot, doesn't he? I think it's looking at the bigger picture rather than the, you know what I mean, the fine details. Sometimes these little details of breaks happen for a reason, but sometimes they just don't. So, okay, 1 leg down. I mean, it certainly looks like it's trying to push higher. There's no argument there, but somebody did mention about going short. I mean, it could flush. It could flush somewhere, couldn't it? Take out some. There'll be some longs in there, maybe some there. I don't know, but it does look like it's trying to get. Remember, I mentioned this about 10 minutes ago. 3 times we popped off, and somebody mentioned about taking a short, and I didn't take it. And all of a sudden, it dropped straight down here, had a bit more of a run up, and off it went. And it's done exactly the same thing. So you see these patterns quite a lot. It's losing momentum here, isn't it? Do you really want to go long here, right at the top? If it comes back a couple of times, then maybe you will go long back here, because obviously, really, the ideal place to go long is right at the bottom of the channel. You don't want to be going long up here, do you? Maybe as it goes up, some traders will be adding to their positions. They'll add a bit more here, they may add a bit more here and add a bit more here, but yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, you could say that's a triple test. I agree with that. The only issue I have is when that red bar forms, you've got 3 bars back to back there. So there's a few alarm bells there. But I see what you're saying. It's bounced 3 times, but just the fact that you've got red, green, red. Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks like it's trying to go up. There's, we can all agree on that. It's just that other way just didn't look right. Sometimes when you draw the channel, the angles of these smaller Trentum just don't seem to fit for some reason. Something doesn't look right. I passed the red bar, yeah. I see the trick. I didn't notice that. It is like we've come down once, we've pushed up, come down again, we've come down a 3rd time. But the trouble is then yeah, all of a sudden you have another red bar, and then you've got 3 almost perfectly back to back. Let's see if this extra push down has given us a run up enough to get out. Trouble is pushing up here when you're sort of 2/3 of the way across the channel. There's going to be less force there, isn't there, than maybe coming back here first and pushing up. I mean, I'm doing a lot of ifs and buts, but it is a human behavior we're looking at, aren't we? And human beings are more likely to buy here than they are here, which is why it might have just lost a little bit of momentum there. And sometimes we see it all the time, don't we? We'll push up, we'll right to the top, we'll go sideways, we'll get right over to the EMA in the bottom of the channel, you'll get a nice big bearish bar, a higher low, and then it'll rocket. So a lot of the times we see this going sideways, don't we? Excuse me, maybe a little channel there. Yeah, we sort of pushed up to this side, we've gone a little bit sideways, and then all of a sudden up again. And we see that all the time, don't we, that pattern? It'll push up strongly, and it has. It's gone right to the very top, and maybe it's working its way now into this tier, and then it'll work up a bit, and then if it's strong enough, then it might push back up here. So we got a new high there, possible second entry long. Now, if we get another bar which drops down here, it might not be a terrible place to go long. Trouble is, you've got to get above all this resistance. I think it will do. I think it absolutely will do. But it's just not nice feeling trying to go into all that support. Okay, so high low there, second entry long. If this finishes bullish, I don't think it'd be a terrible place. Has the channel off the lows? Does he? Yeah, I don't know. If you have the channel off the lows, then you would consider this a break in that case. Just posted his chart. Let's have a look. Is he done already, is he? Yeah, he's gone from here, hasn't he? From there. Trouble is, this is now a break. I don't know, it just doesn't look right to me. See, Marco's also got a channel here, but Mac hasn't. Marco's got a channel from here. Yeah, Marco's got that channel. But Mac hasn't got it, and it doesn't look right to me. So I think what you have to do is do it how you see it. So whether it will indeed look like that later, I don't know. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it looks right to me. I mean, it has to be important to a degree. You've got to take into consideration to a certain degree that it is touching exactly the same place many times. So maybe it has just worked in this tier, and now it's working across. Let's see if it bounces off this. Second entry long. I mean, it's come right down to that channel I've drawn, right to the nearest tick. So perhaps it's just working in this top tier, the top tier for a bit, then we got two legs back, a strong push up, and then sidewards. I mean, the trouble is, it's at the bottom there, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's what you call a triple test. Trouble is, I wouldn't be shocked if it triggers you, comes down, bounces off here. Do you take this one or not? It is tempting. It is a second entry long. There's the new high after this one. That's one tick lower, so it's a second entry long. It's touched the bottom of this channel, sorry, the bottom of this range and the bottom of this channel. Let's get an order ready.
Order submitted.
1, 2. It's a triple test, but I would prefer it to come a bit lower. But the fact that it's touched it, intersecting lines there, so I don't know, is that right? We'll see. There'll be a few of us get stopped out otherwise, but I think it's worth it just to the tops. I think it might boom out, but there's a few points available. It is a second entry long off the bottom. It's a triple test. Trouble is, it could tick up, come down, drop below it, and sit up there. But the fact that it's touched it, I'm kind of glad it's finished crap. See what happens now. See, that might have finished a tick or two higher on someone else's chart. Something I don't like about it. It's a lot lower here. I would prefer this to break out a little bit and then close a bit higher. See if we can get a higher low. Get a higher low. Something about it I don't like. Yeah. 3575. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if that came down and tick below. If it does break below, sorry, break below and then pull up and sit on here. I think that's an absolute one. Yeah. But you will see this all the time. It'll push up to one side of the channel and then it'll go up and down, up, down, up and down until it gets right to this side in the EMA and then off it'll go. See, straight away, I don't like the look of that. Yeah, EMA is going to go a little bit flat when it goes sideways. But the bigger picture... Yeah, see, that was just asking to be stopped out. I hope nobody took that one. I think somebody might. It didn't look that bullish on my chart, but it may have looked a bit more bullish on some others. It might work, but I much prefer to take the higher low really above the EMA. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be in this trade now. If you see where it's touched there and there, it's touched a lot lower than that. It might work, but I prefer a second. I prefer it to break below here and sit on here and then a second entry long right off the bottom. I'd be happy about that. Okay, so if you took a short there, obviously broke for a few. Maybe someone shorted that. There was a little bit of a drop, which is why I just couldn't take that one. If it would have been sat on there, then that would have interested me, but it didn't look very bullish on my chart anyway, so hopefully some of you didn't take it. Trouble is, if that was a ticker too higher, which it could be, the bars can often look different. There may have been some have gone into that, but we've got see where it's sat? Right on that line. That's on that line. In fact, it's a fraction up. If I bring that down to fit there perfectly. Okay, touching perfectly, touching perfectly, touching perfectly, touching perfectly, touching perfectly. So is that right? Seems to me. Maybe this is one leg down, two legs down, a push up, a higher low, and then off we go. Or it might not be a channel, it might be a range day, and it might come back into here. Just when I think I've got this business figured out, it throws you a curveball. It seems to work in here, but it might just be a bigger range day. Look what's happened here. Touched it twice there. Touch. This could just be the top of a range, and it may come down. That would make sense, wouldn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. It could just be that. In fact, I don't even know where to put it now. Okay, try to go once, try to go once. Failure. Let's see if this triggers and pushes up. The same on the bottom early this morning. Yeah. This is key now. If it does push up, then I'd say, yeah, forget the range. Then I'd say we're clearly working up. Now, that's pushed up quite strongly. Try to go once, the failure. So, if you bring this down to there, that looks better now, doesn't it? Touch in there a couple of times, touch in there a couple of times. I don't know. It might just be going from here. I don't know. It's somewhere around there anyway, I'd say. Okay, so try to go once, try twice, possible failure. That I think when it's a bit choppy like this, you can interpret it in quite a few different ways. Trade did Marco take? He took. You take that one. Yeah, Marco took that one. It's a higher low. Trouble is, it's sort of in the middle, isn't it? But or did he take that one? No, I only think he takes one, doesn't he? He took. You took that one. I mentioned that one. One leg, two legs down, higher low. I mentioned that one earlier. You took that one. I like that. One leg, two leg, higher low. Okay, pushing up now. Give us a higher low. Yeah, so if you went long there and you were still in that and went long there and went long there, that one took all three out. And then it's pushed up and it looks like it's slowly grinding. So I would have said, I'm expecting it to go up, certainly to this measured move, if indeed it's in the right place. It looks like a leg there and a correction, then another leg, but there's a bigger one, I think. Two legs back, up sideways and up. So if we can get a higher low here, then I might be interested in that. So we've had one leg, two legs back, push up, get a higher low. Trouble is, who mentioned bearish? Brant mentioned bearish. See, that might be a push up through all the stops. There may be triple test. There may be some stops there. Usually, when it hits this same point so multiple times, when it does break above, it does it with a little bit of vigor, and then sometimes it comes back and you shit yourself a bit, and then it continues up. But it does look like it's come sideways, and it looks to me like it's slowly grinding up. It's just towards the bottom of the range. Not, yeah. No, but the point I was making about there's likely going to be some shorts in here thinking we're coming down. So if that does break above them, then we should get a decent push then. But it does look like it's clearly trying to go higher. There's no argument there. See how it's come back? It's touched there right at the bottom of that channel. And look at this. That's going to burst straight out the top, that is. Did this a couple of weeks ago. Struggled to get up, had a couple of legs back, and then eventually went. So it may. It's clearly trying to get up, isn't it? Clearly. So maybe it'll come up. Maybe it'll do something like this. Unfortunately, there's no real way of getting in there. I do know traders who would have taken that second entry long and just jumped in here for a point risk. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone second entry long, triple test off here, and that's triggered. So now I wait for those to close out there, and then if they then push up, you've got maybe shorts taking the profits and buy orders down here. If you're going to buy something to go long, you want to do it as low as possible, really. So I like for it to break out the bottom and then push up, which tells me it's broken out. Shorts have taken their profits. Buyers have come in and pushed it up. So I like it when it breaks below nowadays. I did a trade like that a week or so ago and lost. So I've lost enough of those now for it to stick in my head, which is why I didn't get in. It wasn't a fantastic bar anyway. We're matching highs that, so I've got no doubt this is going to go higher. So whether it'll push up and maybe, I don't know, something like that. But resistance is there to be broken, isn't it? They are. We're straight above that. So whether we'll come up now and work in this tier or whether we'll come back a little bit and then move in here, but that's clearly got bulls written all over it. I'll sell if it breaks out and gives a lower high. Yeah, this is looking quite bullish, isn't it? I expect to get up to these highs. Whether we get it in one go or not, I don't know. Yeah, so the more times it tries to get up here and comes back again, it'll usually, we see it all the time, it'll go sideways right to the key entry point, right to the side of the channel, and then that usually encourages a lot more. But I mean, if you're going to buy this, an uptrend, where's the best place to buy it? Right down here. And it's come sideways right to here and then pushed straight up strongly. So it's touched 3 times there. It's touched a few times there. So I don't know. Does it matter the fact that it hasn't touched there? It's fitting nice now, isn't it? So it looks good for me. So if I'd have taken there wasn't a setup there, but it would have been in the right place in my opinion because of this. But I don't know, who knows?
Order
You can
cancelled.
interpret it. The fact that Marco's put his there is one thing, but you know, if Marco had carried on training for another couple of hours, he may have adjusted it, and we do adjust it as we see them, as we see things. You know what I mean? And just because one person interprets it slightly different, it doesn't necessarily a major problem. So there is some support around here, around this midline. Some support there. Push down, a little bit of resistance there, so I expect maybe a little bit of sideways. Hard to draw when well, exactly. It's although it's going up, it's doing it. It's up, a little bit of choppy down, a little bit of choppy up, a little bit of chop up, bit of chop, couple of legs down. It is very sort of flashy, isn't it? Up, down, up, down, up, down, and it is. You can interpret it so many different ways. You just sort of have to do the best you can, don't you? Really, but. But who knows? Come the end of the day, it might be a lot more clearer. But sometimes, as it's happening, see, I don't measured move made. So, have you got your measured move down to here? Where's your measured move? It's not the easiest. I mean, I'd put it there, maybe to these highs. That's one measured move. Perhaps there's something bigger, which is why I put that there. We've come up, and then we've had this 2-legged correction. So I'd say this is. I mean, if it continues up, soon I mean about that resistance there. Come down once, 2, 3 times. It's tried to get above there, and it's done the same. It's come up to 1 tick below exactly the same point where it's touched twice there and pushed back down. So profits will have been taken there. Hence the quick drop. So let's see where we bounce off here, or if indeed we do. First leg starts at 1543 here. I don't know. 43. So if your first leg starts there, that doesn't look right to me. Because you usually have your push up and then you have a correction, don't you? And that looks like the correction to me. So I'd say that's there. In fact, personally, I'd say it's probably there. That's maybe the start of the channel. I don't know. Sometimes they're a lot more clearer. Again, because it's so choppy, it's not only hard to draw the channel, but it's hard to draw these measured moves. Personally, I like that. There was maybe a push there and a correction, another push, but a bigger one with a 2-legged correction and another push up. So we'll see if it gets up here. I don't know. So we've had that channel. We've had a break. Just can't get in there because it could trigger and come down. J couldn't get on top of the channel, so red flag. Most breakouts fail. Other red flag for the long. I'm waiting for now. Yeah, it's clearly moving up. That's risky to take that because I wouldn't be shocked if it stops you, comes back down to here. It could be a couple of legs down and then push up again, but it's in a bit middle of no man's land a bit. I think you've got to think about the most attractive place to go along, which is sort of here, really, isn't it? We came sideways right back to this channel, and then what happened? Woof. So you can see where most people bought, can't you? Here. Unfortunately, there isn't really a setup, and then it just took off. So I don't know, perhaps experienced traders think, well, maybe I don't need a setup. Maybe the fact that it's clearly worked its way back and it's at the lowest point, maybe it's worth a risk. And if you jump in here, risk 3 points to try and ride it to the top. Trouble is, there's so many different ways of trading the markets. You know, maybe experienced buyers will wait for things to break out and then buy the lows. See, I've got an order for crypto. I'm not waiting for a certain signal bar. I'm waiting for Bitcoin to dump, and I'm trying to pick Solana up at $18.50. So I've just put an order down there to see if it comes down, because if it manages to drop and pick me up, then I expect it to push up. So I've put it at the lowest part that I think that I'm interested. I want to come in. Obviously, that's slightly different because I'm buying crypto to keep, but I always like to buy when it has a bit of a drop. So I don't know. Maybe the fact that it's dropped out here for a second time, people have jumped in and then it's gone off. That's the thing. We have our ways of doing things, but there's so many other different strategies. Same with there. Perhaps there was a load of buy orders there or down here which pushed it up. So that has pushed up, but I still think it's risky. On the daily chart, we are coming to the 9 and yeah. So Mac doesn't use any other type of charts apart from the daily, does he? He doesn't use the 10,000 or anything else. I did start having the 10,000 tick chart, but I got rid of it when I got the trade copy and didn't realise it opened 2 lots of trade, so I haven't used it since. But I know when I started trading currency, I intraday trade and I used the hourly chart and I used the 4 hourly chart as like an anchor chart. So, I don't think there's any issues. I don't think it does you any harm having a bigger picture, but the trouble is, because this is such a small time frame to trade something bigger, I don't know whether it'd help you or not. Obviously some swear by it. Could be a couple of legs back. So you've had this short-term trend channel, you expect to break a new high. You get a higher low there. I'm just going to do another 25 minutes. We came in late anyway, so. Don't forget, gents. In fact, I had a bunch of affiliate links, affiliate payments yesterday. Quite a few actually. So if you use my code yesterday, I do appreciate it. Quite surprised actually. There was quite a lot. Don't usually get that many, but we have got this 80% off. So there's obviously people are taking them. So if you did take that or you have used my code, thank you. It is appreciated. It does give me that extra money and allows me to trade full time. I just work the weekends. So what I get the weekends and the bit I get from using the from Apex for the affiliate link really helps me out. So if you've used it or you do use it, thank you. Short-term trend channel break. I'd like a higher low here. Trouble is, we could get a leg and a leg and come back to this area, which would confirm this channel then, wouldn't it? Okay. Try go once. Maybe some people shorting that. See, I like to sometimes give the failure a chance to fail, to trigger. Short-term trend channel. Second entry long, expect a new high. See how this finishes. It's certainly not a short-in market at the moment, isn't it? So I can't see.
Order submitted.
Trouble is, it is possible we could get 2 legs back. Fail breakout range. Yeah, see, that's the... it is possible that this could be just a big range. Touched a couple of times here. Touch, 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 touch. Broken out. The trouble is, we've had this push down. If that's a second entry long and that triggers above it, could be a failed second entry long, and that might then push back. So it's so hard to judge. And I think really, if you're not sure, I think it's safer to stay out. But I don't know. For me, we worked above this, and now we've come above it. So I don't know. Let's have a look. See if it comes and gets me. It is a second entry long. See if it comes and gets me. No, it hasn't. Second entry long. We'd expect to break a new high, but oh well. I'd expect it to come up to these highs. See if we get a failure, maybe. Wasn't the best looking bar there. And we have had a broken out. It is on my mind that it could be just a bigger range. I don't think it is. But it might be. I would prefer the failed second entry long to trigger and give us a failed second entry short to push up to these highs. Failed second entry short, yeah, we may get that. I don't like the fact that it's struggling here though, so see what happens. See if we get the because if people are thinking range, they're thinking failed breakout. Try go one stroke, but twice failed. I don't think it is. I think it is pushing up. It does seem to me. How many ticks you go for nowadays? I have my order set on 4 points. But depending on how far there is to the highs, I'll go somewhere between 2 and 4 points if I don't think there's much. But I do like I like Taylor's way of trading. He tends to go for 4 points max, but sometimes he will reduce it depending if I, if there was only 3 points to the top, then I may think about taking 2. So somewhere between 2 and 4. I did go for a phase of just letting it go, but I took a trade the other day, and if you remember, a few weeks ago, it went up and up and up and up, and then came down straight past me, and that's when I realised we had this 2-tiered trend. So I try and get myself some points now, so I'll decide whether I go for 2 or 4, 2, 3 or 4 points, depending on how far I think. I mean, if we're in a strong uptrend and our highs here and there's 6 points to the top, then I'll go for the 4. If it's a very strong trend, then I may let it do 4 and then secure myself 2. In other words, like take 2 points as a scalp and leave the rest to run. So it depends. But it does look like it's trying to push higher. It's a slow grind, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's going to push nice and high. I think so. It does look like a channel, and there's quite a ways to go to the top, so we may, unfortunately, don't think there's a way. That's gone up one, and be nice to get the failure. I will take that every day. Second entry long, fail, second entry short, yeah. Let's see if it comes back and gets me. I don't think it will. It did come back and touch it, but perhaps it's just struggling with these highs a bit.
Order submitted.
Okay, it's come back and got me. So let's see if we can push up a bit. I think once we go so far, second entry long, I've got him where I should have done. Maybe it's gonna, I don't know, we'll see. It's only gone up 1.25 points anyway, so I wouldn't have took me profits there anyway, so yeah, 1.25 points. Second entry long, key entry point. It's 2.25 point risk, so it's not terrible. Trouble is, it's starting to go a bit sideways. Second entry long or a failure. So it could come back down here. Okay, try to go once, try twice. If this triggers and pushes up above this, then I expect it to go up. We'll see. I don't mind if that actually triggers, because it will trigger failed second entry short, and we're still above the EMA, and the price is holding at the moment. If we can get above here, I expect to get closer to this, but it might sort of, it's possible it could come down to this sort of side, so I don't know. Hate it when it goes slow. Keep going. Come on. I'll get me points. Might get up to there and get me 4 points. That'll do for the day. There may be some shorts there. See, taking the failed breakout. So if we can get above here, we should hit my stop. My take profit. It's clearly slowly working up. It's gone sideways. It hasn't come down. And now it's had a little breakout. Come back, picked up some more volume. And I think it's slowly grinding up. Just pushed above the midline there, so maybe it'll come back and push up. Once we get above here, there will be some people treating that as a failed breakout. I don't like the way it's going slow here. It hasn't reached the highs anyway, so Go on, get up. Once it gets above here, I think we'll be golden. Don't like the way it's going slow, this. It makes me nervous. Not happy about that. Get up, you tosser. Excuse my language. Don't want to get out for break even, but I'm gonna do break even +1 just in case. I've got a feeling this might just go whammo. Come on, get up. You know you want to. It's gonna stop me out. This is. I'm taking something. 3/4 of a point. If it gets above here, I think we'll be okay. But now let's put it back where it was. Sod it. I've got to play the game properly. Does look like it's working its way. Okay, I'm coming out for that.
Order filled.
Point in the court. I just don't like that. I hate that. Sometimes it'll go like that, and all of a sudden it'll wham. It did it earlier. That one there. You get a few longs here and a few longs here, and then wham. It just make me nervous. We're out. We're all out on that. I just don't like it. It may come back and give us but it's stalling there. Did I get a point in the court? That's fine. I'm happy with that. I'd rather get something than nothing. What did I get? 1.5 points. Okay, that's fine. 1, 2, 1.5 points. That'll do me. I just don't like today. I made a couple of mistakes early, but at least I'm up. A 1.5. I just don't like it when it goes slow. A lot of the times it'll do that, and then woof, it'll go off in one direction. So plus 1.5 points. Boom. Back. Second entry long. Could be a failure, whatever you want to call it. Second entry long. Point and a half's okay. Most people now scalp 1.5 points. I think Marco scouts 1.5 point. I think Daniel scouts 1.5 points. So it's just, it might push up. It's probably gonna, but I don't like the way it's going up, slow ups, and it's struggling a bit. So that just, perhaps it may need to flush down a bit and then bounce off this again. I don't know, but all I know is just I don't like being stuck in these trays. They just worry me. It just looks like it may have one more push. It could be a leg, and then it may work up, but it's just what I don't like about it. There's probably going to be some longs there. There's likely going to be some longs there. I think it could just come woof and take everybody out, and then I'm going to regret it. So I got a 1.5. Yeah, that's making me nervous anyway. And it might just bounce off here and push up, but this looks to me like it's coming down a little bit further. I mean, we've had a discussion about this channel, whether it's right anyway. It might be more something along the lines of this. That kind of works as well. So it could be a spiking channel. So you know what I mean? I'm just a little bit unsure about this. Let's just put that. Yeah, I'm not so sure. It's very choppy. It worked, but stops it. Yeah, I just don't like the fact. I mean, you've had that push up and we've come back, so I would tend to recount from here, trying to go, oh, sorry about the failure. But you can class that as failure as well. First, second, third entry. Stop it. We pushed up. We tried to come down once, tried to come back lower twice, and pushed that. But I don't like it. It's getting a bit choppy, and it's. Okay, that's me done for the day anyway. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm okay now. At least I am up. Let's have a look. $100 minus fees. So what's that? About 80 something dollars. I've got 2 PA accounts. There's 160 on that, and 2 more evaluations. 260, 360. About 400 or 500 quid total, something like that. Perhaps it needed the failure, but it's just not. I don't know. I think once it gets above here, then I think it'll be okay. But that makes me nervous. And sometimes when you're in these trades and they go a bit sideways, it's not very good for your mental health, is it? So there you go. That's it. Bit of an odd day today. I was in the best place when I started trading. It threw me a little bit. I didn't have my normal routine of, relaxation and breathing and stuff, because we had problems with Ninja Trader. But we got there in the end. At least I'm up a little bit. And I traded one contract at the moment with these PA accounts, and it's a much better option. I am way less stressed. I didn't get the urge to come back and trade last night. So I think reducing my risk is helping me. It's just, I'm not confident enough at the moment. I managed to get that one PA account up to $7,500, and I took a payment and things were good. And then I ended up taking that big loss, and I never recovered from that. And it's took me a few more months to build up that confidence. But it takes time. I think you need to be doing this every day and earning money for maybe 6 months in a row before you start to really believe that, now I'm good enough and everything's balanced. See, it's come back down again. That I mean, you could say, there you go, first, second, third. What's that, triple test? It is, isn't it? Are we going to now have a quick flush down, which we did here? If you'd have taken along there, we had that quick flush, didn't we? It does look like a triple test. So there you so maybe boom, boom, boom. I wouldn't be happy about having my stop there, because that'd be a shame when there was a 1.5 on offer and I didn't take it. So my stop would have been there. So I don't know. Maybe there's some shorts there. Maybe if that does push up and takes out any shorts there, then I think then we'll have a decent move. But that's me done for the day. 4 trades. I don't usually take that many. I went for a stage of just doing one trade a couple of weeks ago, and it seemed to work well. And it threw me a little bit, and I got a little bit too over keen here, but I managed to pull it back in the end. So I got to go and have my tea. So there you go. Measured move has rejected. Yeah, see, I don't know. Measured move, I don't know. To me, measured move, that will be one, and then a couple of legs back and another one leg, two leg. But then I don't know, it looks like there, and then we had a couple of a two-legged correction and another leg. So I fully expect to break above these highs. I fully expect it's clearly grinding. So there's enough buyers in there to slowly push it higher, but sellers are holding on. And they've really pulled out all the stops with that one. There's obviously a lot of shorts in there to push that down. But is it going to bounce and push up? I absolutely believe it will. You're welcome, Blaze. Anytime, mate. So I appreciate all the comments and all the feedback, and we always have a nice chat. It's a nice little group here. We're getting to know each other, and hopefully your comments and your support and that help me, and hopefully the things I do help you. Maybe you can see the way I've got it drawn. It's always better sometimes to have a couple of extra sets of eyes, but there you go. So that's me. So that's it for today. So it is is it Thursday today? Okay, so last day, another week gone already. Wow. Is it definitely Thursday, is it? It is, isn't it? Yeah, my God. The weeks go so quick. So, okay, so that's it for tomorrow. For today, I will be back tomorrow. Ratio. Good day. Yeah, good day to you, Jay. So, yeah, that's it. It does look like it's pushing up. So, so there you go. So, it's all right. A mate's just messaged me. Yeah, ratio. I am doing these slightly different. I'm trading these two accounts. Hold on a second. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that one PA on one, and that one, that's number 20 on one as well. Yeah, so I'm trading the two PAs on with one contract, and I'm trading two evaluations with two contracts. I've got another past evaluation as well, which goes live on Monday, so that'll be 3 PAs. But the best thing I've done, I think, is reduce my risk down from 2 contracts. Now, do I think I'm going to lose 7 trades in a row? Not really, but the trouble is, sometimes these large amounts, it's such a big risk though. You lose 3 trades in a day and you've almost wiped out half your money, and it's just too much risk. It has too much of an effect in it, and it stands to reason, it's common sense that if you reduce your risk by half, you're going to reduce the amount of stress. There's no other way, there's no other way to look at it. So if that breaks above here, it'll hit that stop as well. So there's probably a triple test there. So once we get above there, I've got no doubt we're going to push up to this measured move, but let's keep it there a minute. I'll message him in a bit. But it's very slow grinding, isn't it, this afternoon? But it's definitely bullish in a fashion, isn't it? We also had this sideways, and we came back and bounced here, and then we pushed up above these, and then a couple of legs down. But once we get above there, I think we're home running. Then I expect to get up to here, if not up to the open. But there's some support here. We got the official open here, which has caused a problem. We got this midline here, which there's caused some support there and some resistance there. So it's doing the same a little bit, but once we get above here, then I think we'll move up quickly. But there probably will be. There's probably going to be people who thinking, maybe some traders thinking, okay, we got a leg down. Maybe we're going to get another leg down. Who knows? one leg down, bit of a sidewaysy up, and then another leg down. I don't know, but people always try and pick tops and bottoms, don't they? If you can pick the bottom here and then ride that up for the day, you'll do all right. It's just very slow, so I'm done for the day anyway. So at least I'm up again. 2 days in the green. A little bit less, but that's okay. These small amounts add up. And if you're not making large amounts and you're not losing large amounts, it's not going to have that same sort of frustrating, scary effect on you. So there you go. So I'm going to save my chart image. 11/5/23 now. If anybody's from the US, that is how you write it. Day, date, month. You're all wrong. We're right. So there you go. I save all mine. Sometimes it's nice to look back and see how awful you were. We could go up to 4151. Yeah, once we get above this, I think it's likely we're going to get up here somewhere. I still expect to make this. I don't know, I've put the measured move there, but the trouble is it's that much of a choppy chart today. You can interpret it so many different ways. I mean, just the conversations we had about where the channel was, there could have been a few different ways of doing it. I mean, it may even turn into be something, you could have incorporated that, couldn't you? And who knows? But be interested to see some other interpretations and indeed Max later, see how he drew that, because he hadn't, I think he'd finished about here, but be interesting to see. But people do adjust them as it goes. But there you go. So that is me. I appreciate you guys hooking back up with me this afternoon. Things went a bit funny, didn't they, this morning with the software? But there you go. So have a great evening. Stay safe, and we will do it all again tomorrow. Bye for now.